And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our 2024 MLR Week 3 preview and pick'ems by Rugby411. Already Week 3 is coming upon us. Interesting schedule. Please note there is a schedule change. One of the games that was originally supposed to be Friday, I believe it's Charlotte's game, or Anthem Rugby's game, has been moved to Sunday instead. So 5 games on Saturday. That's right, 5 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. It is a packed day of rugby action on Saturday. And again, you can watch all the games absolutely free, live or on demand on the Rugby Network. And of course, local affiliates if you're in the local area of the games where they are played. But again, check them out on the Rugby Network, absolutely free. Highly recommend you download that app. So let's kick it off. Saturday, March 16th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. NOLA Gold takes on the reigning defending MLR champions, the New England Free Jacks, coming off of a upset loss to Old Glory DC. NOLA sitting pretty at 2-0, one of the few teams that are undefeated, shockingly. Interestingly enough, the rivalry between these two teams, NOLA has 3 wins over New England, but those 3 wins were the very first 3 times that these two franchises played against each other, and that was back in 2020 and 2021. So it's been about 3 years since NOLA has beaten New England. And considering New England was pretty disappointed to losing their home opener against the Old Glory DC, I don't think they're going to want to upset their fans again. So I have New England winning this game pretty decisively over NOLA. Moving on, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the before-mentioned Old Glory DC are hosting the Chicago Hounds at their new home stadium of the Maryland Soccerplex in Germantown. Chicago Hounds going over to Old Glory. Chicago looking a little rough for wear. Old Glory and Chicago have only played each other once, and Old Glory won that game. I think Old Glory is still coming high off of beating New England, and, again, I've been kind of a little worried about Chicago, and I think Old Glory looks like a world beater. I think that game against NOLA was kind of just first game jitters. Old Glory definitely wants to ride the wave of momentum that they're carrying off of the win against Free Jacks. I have Old Glory winning this game over the Chicago Hounds. And then moving on, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, New Kids on the Block, the Miami Sharks take on the Houston SaberCats. Another tough road game going over to SaberCats Stadium in Houston. SaberCats, on my power ranking, are the number 2 ranked team. They are very tough. They're very physical. Miami's looking pretty good too for a new franchise, but I don't think they'll have enough to put away Houston. I think it's going to be as tough a game as the game was with Seattle. They hung in there, but I just don't think Miami has enough to put away Houston. So I think Houston will win this game and still make it an unwin season for the Miami Sharks. Now the rest of the games of Week 3. The only issue that I have with the fact that we have all these games on one day is that it's literally impossible to watch all of them live because they're starting 1 hour after the other. We just had the 5 p.m. game, Miami at Houston. Now at 6 p.m. on Saturday, Seattle goes over to Zion Stadium to take on the Utah Warriors. This is also a pretty close rivalry. Seattle has 6 wins over Utah's 3. The Seattle, they split in the last year that they played against each other, 3-3. Seattle's been looking really, really good, but so has Utah, and I have to say, as much as we talk about Starfire Stadium being a very tough venue to play at, Zion Stadium in Utah is also becoming very, very tough to play. Granted, Utah does get a little streaky. I'm in need of one of these upset wins that nobody else is going to call. So I'm calling it here. I think this is going to be the upset of the week. I believe Utah takes down your two-time MLR champions, the Seattle Seawolves, with a win. Now, moving on. Last game of the day, the game of the week on Fox Sports 2, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The West Coast rivalry reignites with the new LA franchise, Rugby Football Club LA, taking on San Diego Legion in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium. You know, again, as much as I want to be a homer for my team, I just, from what I've seen, I just don't think they have enough to put away San Diego. Now, they could upset, they could get a win. It wouldn't be the biggest shock to me, but, you know, I have to be realistic about it. I think San Diego wins this one in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium. But I'm always going to be rooting for my boys, Rugby Football Club LA. Won't be able to make up the game, but I will be there in spirit as always. Then, our last game, the game that was moved from Friday originally to now Sunday, March 17th, noon p.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. This should be an interesting game. Dallas Jackals taking on the new kids on the block, Anthem Rugby, in Anthem Stadium, American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. First time these two franchises will play against each other. You know, honestly, Dallas has been looking really, really good. Now, granted, I've been kind of critical of their win against LA. 4 yellow cards isn't going to help any team win. Dallas only won by 3. Dallas did end up struggling in their game this week, but, you know, Dallas still does have a very strong competitive team. I think they pull off the win here, and it shouldn't really be in question. So even though Dallas is still technically one of the newer teams, I think Dallas gets their second win of the season. And again, Anthem is going to be struggling throughout the year, but it still will be a good game to watch. So those are all of my predictions. Let me know what you think about my predictions in the comments below. Also, too, don't forget, through Super Brew, people, make your picks in. You got until Saturday. Technically, you got until the kickoff of any game. So as long as you get them in before the game starts, you should be golden. But yeah, I'm hoping I do better with my picks than I've done before, because I'm really hurting when it comes to these Super Brew picks. But yeah, looks pretty good. And again, you can watch every game live or on demand on the Rugby Network app. I highly recommend you get it. Don't forget to join my Super Brew. Instructions on how to join will be in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll see you on the pitch.